everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I got with me today Jason and Max. How's it going, guys?
What up?
How's everyone's week been? Jason, what you been up to? Anything?
Nothing much. Just the same old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Been watching some things.
Right.
I watched Nimona.
Nimona.
Have you guys seen that?
No,
It's on
what's it on?
Netflix.
Yeah, I heard about
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
what's
on
it about?
Netflix. It was it used to be a web comic, and it went from that to being a graphic novel, and
Hey,
now
Malloy, how's it going?
Malloy. And then it was under Disney for a second. It was like 75% done. Disney snuffed it out when they bought Blue Sky Entertainment. And because yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Okay.
Apparently it's too gay for Disney.
Okay.
So they snuffed it out, and then Netflix picked it up and revived it, and now it's a huge smash. And
Okay.
now people are it's getting good reviews.
Any
So
big names or?
really good. It's got
Chloe, Hit Girl's in it.
yeah, Hit Girl from Kick Ass.
I don't remember her last
Oh, okay.
name.
All right. Okay.
Chloe Moretz,
All right.
something. Grace Moretz, I think is her name.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Riz Ahmed is in it, the guy from Nightcrawler. He's also the guy. He's in Rogue One. He's the Imperial guy. Who
Okay.
debunks
Oh, yes, of
and
course. Yes,
gets
yes,
tortured
yes.
by the
For
monster.
sure. Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
The TIE Fighter pilot.
And what's his name? Eugene from the Try Guys. I worked with him a bunch of times. He worked for BuzzFeed.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's like one of the other main characters, and was the voice of Launchpad from the new DuckTales is in it.
Oh,
too.
okay. All right.
That's cool.
But it's really good. I think you guys should check it out. I felt the same way about it's great animation.
Okay.
Like this new wave of animation style is really good. It's got the
Right.
whole kind of arcane Spider-Verse style stuff. Really good graphics and
Okay.
character design, and
That's cool.
it's good stuff. What else have I also watched? I Am a Virgo.
Okay.
Oh, I was
You
it?
guys-
I'd mean to check that out.
It's good, man. Boots Riley. I've been following him for decades.
Mhm.
I used to listen to his music. He did Sorry to Bother You. He's a hip hop musician, activist, director.
Right.
But I'm a Virgo has that same feel. Have you guys ever watched Sorry to Bother You?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't. No.
It's got that same vibe, exactly like that, with the same beats and stuff like that, and the same weirdness going on.
Right. Gotcha.
But it's really cool, and from a art
Hey,
department.
Chris, how's it going?
As an art department point of view, it's kind of cool because it's about this kid who's huge, and so everyone around him is smaller, and then they have to build all these sets around him and stuff. It's kind of
Okay.
cool with the whole forced perspective and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's those are two really good shows that I really like. Oh, that and the new
Cool.
Superman, but we don't have to
Yeah.
talk about
Let's
that.
actually, yeah. Let us talk about that. What is it? My Adventures with Superman.
My
Yeah.
Adventures with Superman.
It's
Which
the
definitely
first-
describes the show because he's not the main character. Which
Yeah.
I mean, that should be the key to
Well,
most
this
people.
is-
He's not the main character, but
Yeah.
It's the first
Yeah.
it's the first animated Superman series we've gotten in 20 years.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Weirdly,
the last
yeah.
one was the Superman animated
Yeah.
series, which was fantastic. I love that
Yeah.
part of
And
it.
I'm actually getting the same vibe. I feel
Okay.
I don't know, I feel excited about this the same way I felt about that when it first
Okay.
came out. And
Fair enough.
yeah, the Newsboy Legion that made me smile.
I've
Yeah,
only seen the first episode so far, but yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's a good character dynamic. It has a
Okay.
Huey from The Boys voicing Superman.
Okay.
That's the only character, but they've
Yeah.
introduced Livewire and Slade Wilson
Okay.
so far.
Wait, when did I missed the Slade bit? When did they introduce
He's the
Slade?
guy with the white hair. I guess this is pre losing his eye, Slade.
Oh wait, what? Did they say his name? Because I was half paying attention.
I
saw the
don't think
credits,
they
Slade
say his
created
name.
by-
The one clue we get is his white hair and
Right.
one eye is covered.
I was
really?
literally watching the credits. It said Slade Wilson created by Perez and Wolfman, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait, what? When did we see?" I literally said that out loud to Brandon when
Okay.
we were watching it.
I know, it's you need a refresher up on all these characters before you watch it so you can spot them,
I mean,
I caught Livewire right away. I was like, "This is Livewire. We're doing Livewire."
Mhm.
I did not because they didn't say Slade's name. I totally missed that.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched past the pilot first episode yet. I couldn't automatically get into it, and I hear from people it's decent. They're getting into it, but I don't know. I
I've seen
mean,
a lot of good reviews from
It's
what
got
I
a weird
heard.
feel
yeah,
to
it's
it.
getting. Yeah, I'm not sure about the style of animation personally.
The way I see it is
Uh-huh.
that there's like, all right, what cartoon franchise have people gone nuts for?
Sure.
And then like how can we kind of get that same energy
Oh,
from
yeah.
it
I
and introduce
understand
it
that.
to like a new generation?
Yeah, no,
Because
Well,
honestly,
and it
the
this is
seems to
production
be
what
company is
working
going to be
too.
doing more DC work. I think they have a license
Yeah.
to do Suicide Squad and I think a Batman project.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like the same feel as like Korra or like Avatar.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
got that same dynamic, and
Yeah.
especially like
That's maybe why it feels a little weird for
and
me.
the
because it
characters
feels,
are
yeah.
so cute. Like
That's my
everyone
problem.
is.
That might be my
Yeah,
problem with it.
that was
No,
the
I actually
problem.
I actually like
Yeah.
that. I don't mind it.
Really?
And yeah,
Okay.
because even like Clark's cute. You know.
Maybe
I
that's
like
the
Lois. I
issue.
like Jimmy.
They
That
don't
was
feel
Yeah,
fun.
real.
the Lois and Jimmy little like adventure together is awesome.
I
like
love
their
Lois just being like, "Yeah, I'm the boss. I've been here longer," and if they're
Yeah.
both just interns, like that's a fun dynamic.
It's good.
I like
Yeah,
that.
this is a dynamic I kind of missed from any
Yeah.
like type of Superman property.
But
And,
I kind of wish Lois
I'm
was a
still
full
massively
reporter.
attached though to Lois and Superman season 3. So I have this
Yeah.
very
I just started
connective tissue.
watching that. I'm at the end of season 1 right now.
Oh, dude, wait till you get to season 3. It's the best series of Superman ever, in my opinion.
What they did with John Henry Irons definitely shocked me.
That was cool, wasn't it?
That's all I'll say.
No, that's cool. Yeah,
what
season 2
steals
is
it-
good,
steals
but it's
in it.
Kinda, yeah,
kind
sure.
of yeah,
Nice.
sure, yeah.
It was pretty. It was a good. Yeah, they did some.
Oh,
cool stuff.
that whole story in season 1 is fantastic. I mean, emotionally, it got me in from the pilot episode, though. I mean, the way they dealt with the backstory to to Superman and his
Yeah, I'm still like 3 episodes left, but
Okay.
I've been digging it.
yeah. Well, as I
It
said,
was
season
weird
two
seeing
is season
Superman
2 is
that
good,
slim.
but season 3 is the best ever written season because
Do they
of
ever
emotion.
like acknowledge how they don't change his hair when he's Superman versus Clark?
Nah. Why would
Because I
they?
just watched that whole scene when he meets Lois for the first time
Oh,
and
yeah.
the flashback and all
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does she not recognize him? He doesn't even change his hair. He
Yeah,
legit doesn't even change
He doesn't
his hair.
change
Just
his
like-
hair. That's like a whole thing.
There's a little
isn't it?
there's a little bit of change, but not.
No, there's absolutely no change. Like
There's-
the joke was, like he could take off his glasses, and everyone would be like, "Oh my god, he's Superman."
Fair
Like-
enough. Fair enough. Anyway, whatever. I can't wait till you kind of get to season 3 because I love that season.
Yeah,
so
hopefully
much.
it gets
was
added
so
to
good.
HBO Max soon.
Yeah, season 1 was really good. Like season 1
Not
was
on
up there
HBO.
for me, but
Season 3's not yet.
Yeah,
season 3, yeah, they just finished.
otherwise
it
we'd be
last
riding the
week,
high
so-
seas.
Yeah, but as for the animated series that started this week, I'll give it a chance.
Brent
so
hates
far,
it.
I-
It's like I sent it to you guys. You're like,
no.
What the hell
I-
is this crap?
Yeah, you're right. I hate it in the sense of I respect why they've chosen this style of animation and look. Again, it just goes up there. I personally don't enjoy.
I think
for
you
this
probably-
character that style of look.
I'm
and
just sick of
design.
origin stories.
You probably.
But you're right.
would've-
You're right. It was an origin story again.
I imagine you probably would have liked it better if you found it yourself instead of like hearing it from me first.
No,
Probably, like, have
no,
a bit.
because I already no. Before you even said anything, I'd seen the trailer for it beforehand, and even said to myself, "I'm going to check this out." But the trailer didn't do it for me from when I saw the trailer. So
Oh yeah, his
I-
Sailor Moon transformation. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that definitely did not do
yeah, I
anything
saw
for
that
me.
little piece too. Yeah, that
That
makes
was
no
a
sense
little
to me.
much for Superman.
That
But like,
makes
with a live
no
DC characters
sense
who could
for me.
totally pull that off, but Superman's not that guy. for
Yeah,
me.
Superman
He's
is
I
a
know,
little
but
white man.
but this Superman's.
Do they
cute,
wait?
guys.
Do they do it
Like,
every time? Wait! I gotta ask though. Do they do it every time he transforms into
We've only
Superman?
seen one transformation. So
Oh,
far,
okay. All right. Okay.
And that was like the introduction of his suit.
Fair
So,
enough.
like,
Fair enough.
I would love to see Iron Man transform that way someday.
Didn't the show do them really good with Supergirl?
That'd be
That would
kinda
be
cool.
really interesting. To, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Sailor
kind of
Moon
on the
style.
nose, though, right? She
Yeah.
got
I mean,
the
not
skirt and
really.
everything. Like it's like the same colors of Sailor Moon. It's I don't
No,
know.
I mean,
That would
Power
be
Girl
funny.
be a little on the nose.
Oh, Power Girl. Weakness is wood.
What about yourself, Max? What have you been up to this week?
Nothing.
Nothing. Been a quiet week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's the problem
Calm
right
week.
now. The film industry is dead still. Nothing is happening, including myself. I've had nothing this past week. work-wise. But I've been just spending some time at home, kind of working on my 3D printing stuff and all that sort of thing. So actually cleaning my apartment, which has been kind of like something. But yeah, I did go and see Indiana Jones again this morning. So third time around. Got this cool
It's only
little
1 o'clock. How did you already watch a 3-hour movie again?
because it was on it like they literally were giving this out starting today, which is a little kind of patch, like a
I thought it was
clothing patch.
I thought it was a
No,
coaster.
it's a clothing patch. They were giving it away at the box office starting today. It was like
Are you
I
sure
need to
you
get
just didn't
myself
hear
one of
them
those.
wrong? Like maybe they
No.
said coaster and maybe you heard
No,
something else.
no. It's a little patch. It comes out of the. Well, I'm not going to open it up anyway. But it was like I need to get that. It was kind of cool. It was like only playing, by the way, Jason. Guess where? At Dolby Theaters at AMC. They only actually will give you the patch if you go to see it in the Dolby. So it was like okay. So I think
That's
it's
the whole thing now. Each
Yeah.
and special theater. What do they call it?
a bribe.
Yeah, they'll give you a poster if you go see Spider-Man in
Sure.
IMAX versus Dolby.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Which
Yeah,
I've managed
yeah.
to get to, which is
Extra
Yeah.
$10 on that ticket will get you something.
Yeah, that's it. I got a Transformers poster as well when I saw Transformers a few weeks back. Little one, like
Nice.
it wasn't. It was actually like an A3 photocopy. It was like, wait a minute, this is really bizarre. But
Yeah, that's like the movie theater size posters are always that size.
no, this was actually almost like an A3 photocopy. That's what it felt like. It
hell?
was no. Wait, I put it
Did
away.
they run out and just like
No, it was the cheapest form of poster I've seen from any of the poster giveaways. Usually they're nice, like
like
when
glossy, at least
Marvel
like
did,
standard
yeah,
posters.
yeah, when Marvel give you the
Flash right
posters,
here.
they had the
Usually
good
they're like-
solid. Yeah, the Flash one was
Yeah.
big. Yeah, I got one of those too. Yeah, but those are kind of like a nice solid background. This Transformers one looks like it's just badly printed. It was like, wow, it was not that impressive, but it was free, so it was like whatever. So yeah, there was that. Mission Impossible starts this week on Tuesday.
Yeah, I got my tickets.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see it. I've got it for like 2 p.m. in the afternoon as the first screening. So
Yeah, I think I have it for the same time in
Yeah.
Burbank.
This is
Yeah.
the response so far has been like opposite of Indiana Jones because it's sitting at like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes right
well,
now.
a big thing I,
I
want
think
to
part
talk
of
about.
it is, Indiana Jones is just like, it's not a dead franchise by any means, but the younger generation is connected to very different things than Indiana Jones.
Well, I was going to say before we
Yeah.
go into this, I
Yeah,
want
exactly,
to push.
right?
I want to table this conversation because kind of like last week, Elijah and I had a really good conversation about this, about what is going on with the box office right now, and everything from Indiana Jones to to the Beast Wars, Transformers to the Flash and all that sort of stuff as to why it's not doing strong. So let's table this for a little bit. We'll get a bit of an audience in, but I do want to seriously talk about that and get your thoughts on all that. I did want to kind of cover a couple of other little things that were happening this week. Not a lot. Again, it's been quiet in the news. There's been nothing to really truly report.
Allison Mack is free.
Alison Mack is free. From those who don't know, Smallville. She played. Oh God, I forgot her name. Damn, I should know that. Chloe.
I don't know. I didn't watch Smallville.
Chloe Sullivan. She ended up by getting kind of put in jail 2 years ago for being part of a sex trafficking ring. Or
Was
something
that
like
Nixium? Cult?
Nixium, yeah. She was one of the perpetrators of Nixium.
Hey, that sucked. Yeah, I think probably will. I'm guessing.
I think it's going to do great. I mean, Tom Cruise has, he's reliable with.
He risks his life for each of these films. They've been really good ever since like
Yeah,
Protocol.
yeah.
I heard in the
that's-
next movie, he asked someone to shoot him.
Yeah,
Apparently,
he's just like,
apparently
I'll
only
dodge
the
it.
TA would do it.
Really.
Just shoot me, bro. Oh man, yeah, his death wish to die making a Mission Impossible.
Small Personville. Oh, jeez. No, that was bad. Yeah, no, she got out of jail apparently, so probably going to be unemployed, not as an actor anymore. I'm guessing. I have no idea, to be honest. But-
How long do you think until she's on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast?
I don't know. It'd be kind of.
I think you try to make you keep your distance from that if you know it's good for you.
He
Probably.
keeps with saying that, but he knows it's going to be big money,
Oh,
and
totally.
she needs money, and Like
Well,
those
she won't
royalties
make any
aren't
money
cheap.
out. She won't make any money out of it. Michael Rosenbaum.
No, they'll go
playback
back to her
still-
victims, sure.
Oh,
but,
right,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
But I'm saying that, yeah, Michael Rosenbaum does some really great interviews with actors and
specifically
showrunners. Stuff like
Smallville
that.
actors.
Yeah, surprisingly. Well, I mean, he
Even
played
if they
Lex
were
Luthor
part
in
of
Smallville,
like
so.
sex ring cults, huh? There's no bound.
I don't think no.
for that?
He's legitimately no. He's legitimately said. I've talked to him privately, and he said none of them had any idea that she was connected, obviously, with something as bizarre as that.
I mean, I believe that. I mean, I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
that that'd be the kind of thing you do not bring into work.
No, totally, no. You don't bring them into the fold of fellow actors, and
We were like, we had a clue, but we just thought it was Scientology.
yeah, no. Apparently, they had zero clue, according to what he said. So it's like, yeah, you know.
What
but,
is NXIVM anyways? What
I
the
have
hell
no
is
It was
that?
just a sex cult where it was branded by this, it was just one of those dudes with a lot of money and way too much ego, and he'd bring women in to his commune, and they branded them and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it was just Hollywood ego-driven sex cult where they tell people they make them into stars, and they'd say, "Look, we have Allison Mack here; she's a star." Like it was
Cable
Yeah.
star Allison Mack.
that was the
Wow.
2000s. You tell someone I can get you on MTV's The Real World, and they lose their mind.
Oh, that's true, huh? And Smallville was huge. Like I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Kirk
totally.
Was like
No, it-
on Maxim or something
was-
like that.
Yeah. It did
Well, that was
very-
also the
Okay,
age
sure.
when, some shows ruled. Like, if you
Yeah.
told someone I can get you a part on Lost, that would have been it for them.
You just simply say, "I get you on the cover of Maxim," and they'll go nuts, dude. Remember that shit? Dude, that
Yeah.
culture was so
Okay.
weird back then.
I was 11. My uncle got me a subscription to Maxim for my birthday. My whole family was just like, "Why?"
You'll get some hair on his peaches, man.
And he got two. He got two subscriptions, one for me and one for my twin brother, and we were just like,
Wait, you got a twin?
well, "Yeah, I do. Yeah."
I didn't know
damn.
that. Wait a minute.
New info on Max just dropped,
Wait,
guys.
honest? You've got a twin. Is it
All
identical?
time.
Oh no, he's fraternal, and here's the
Oh,
crazy
okay.
part: he's a scientist.
Wow, that's quite
Wow.
the opposite.
I know.
pretty
The
cool.
artist and the scientist. Oh my god. I did not know that. Anyway.
Wait, so you both got Maxim? Usually just like two
He-
issues
he
just
has
arrive at
a-
your house every month, just the
For a
same
year.
identical
For a
issue.
year.
Really? Oh, good.
I don't know if it was like
Oh,
a prank on my
man.
parents or whatever, but my parents would get the mail. My mom would have to be like, "Hey boys, your Maxims are here," and we're 11.
And they just still like here you go.
It was just
Yeah,
terrible
just-
having our
just find
mom
out,
give
like,
them
the
to
top-
us every month.
Check out this top 10 cologne list for this month.
Talking to
What
the
kind of jet skis are best for ribbon, you know?
Ah. Oh dear.
They're gone, right? There's just nothing like that. Like, printed media in general is just.
Well, I remember like there was big news, like what, 15 years ago, Playboy was like, "We're doing away with nudity," and it
Yeah.
almost killed the magazine. And they were like, "We're bringing back the boobs."
Remember
And then,
remember when Rolling Stone went to smaller format? That was a
Oh,
huge deal when
yeah.
that happened because they used to be like larger. It was like the biggest
magazine. You enjoyed the
Yeah.
physical size of it?
Yeah, the physical size of it. And there's like, oh, we're cutting costs. We have to go back down to like all the other magazines now. And it was just like,
I mean, that's
ugh.
fine with me.
Just
It's
like
a normal
chocolate
magazine.
bars.
Because
Yeah,
Rolling
but-
Stone's been trashed for years. Like, they put.
yeah, but it was like the king
Most
of printed
of
media.
those
at the
magazines
time,
are
man.
trash.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's like
very
a
true. Bring
it's like
back
a
Cracked
website,
magazine.
man.
Speaking of magazines, Empire magazine dropped some images of Rebel Moon. This is the robot in it. Apparently, the robot is voiced by Anthony Hopkins in the series. So
Oh,
yeah, which is interesting.
that robot looks cool.
Yeah,
Cogsworth.
He's gonna have like a crisis
Is it-
himself.
yeah.
Is his name
I-
Cogsworth?
I'm kind of waiting for a trailer to drop on this, like a real trailer. They had a behind the scenes documentary, but
What do you guys think of that? I'm
getting
excited
a lot of
about
hype.
it.
I think it's gonna be
Rated-
awesome.
Rated R Star Wars.
I'll be curious to see what it does and how it plays out. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't
You're
know.
on the fence because of Zach.
I'm on the fence because of Zach. His style doesn't do it for me. Just simple as that. It never has, and it's nothing wrong with that. It's just simply, and there's nothing wrong with his style. I never resonated with it. The same way I just don't resonate with the style of the Superman animated series that just came out. So we'll see. For the actual content, either way. Also, by the way, finally saw a trailer on the big screen for the creator.
It looks awesome.
It looks so
man.
cool. Yeah, they got a new post. They had this little post to come out too, which is interesting.
That's so cool.
But
When
September
Dream On
29th.
just starts like
Yeah,
when the chorus hits in that trailer, it's just like, that's a great trailer.
yeah, it's a really strong trailer.
Man, it's like there's that like kind of Da Vincian kind of the Vitruvian Man kind of
Well,
that
Yeah.
last picture you put up.
no, it's not a Star Wars series. Okay, just jumping back to Rebel Moon again. Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder wrote a treatment for a Star Wars movie that he wanted to direct. Lucasfilm put it down. They said no, it's not the kind of direction we're going with the Star Wars and that kind of look. So he said, you know what? I'm going to make my own series. I'm going to call it Rebel Moon. Obviously,
Kind of like
Rebels and
Spielberg with James Bond on how they got Indiana Jones, or like
Well, I think it's a
George
little bit
Not
of
really.
I think
George
he wanted to make a
Lucas with like,
sci-fi
I want to
project.
do Lord of the Rings, and then you got Willow. You know, it's kind of like that,
To a
right?
certain,
No,
to a
I think-
certain,
yeah,
to
I
a
think it
certain
comes
degree,
from
yeah.
wanting to do an IP sci-fi project. The IP says no, and he says, "But I still
That's
like
it.
this story, so I'll make my
Correct,
own IP."
exactly. So make my own.
Yeah.
So it's going to have vibes supposedly of Star Wars kind of vibes, but I honestly don't know truly. Well, one, we don't know anything about the story yet, but it's it's
The
supposed to be over
cast
two.
is insane.
Yeah, it's supposed to be over 2 parts. They're doing a 2-part movie, I believe. So we're going to see part 1 coming out.
I hope
But
they're
again,
each like 7 hours
until we
long.
see,
I love
until
a good long slow mo Zack Snyder shot. Like I could just watch
oh
a slow
god,
mo.
no,
Yeah.
that
5 minute
would
slow
kill
mo
me.
take.
That
I
would
could totally
kill
watch
me.
that.
No,
Like,
no,
give me like an
no,
ultimate edition, you know?
no,
I wish the
Just,
no.
scene
like,
with the hot
long
dogs and
drawn
flash
The
was
out.
like just a
long,
little
long
slower.
version. If they had enough, they could actually edit the 3 movies instead of one single shot from Zack Snyder.
I don't know, but in Justice League, when those hot dogs are falling into the Flash, I wish he slowed it down like 40% more and then just elongated the scene.
Right? Just
Fair enough.
hot dogs on your screen for like 5 minutes straight. Like,
Right?
man,
Just as slow as those hot
That
dogs
would be-
can physically get.
that would be peak Zack Snyder. Just let me get that hot dog, bro. Let's rest on that hot dog.
Yeah.
Let's get the ripples through the flesh of that hot dog, man. It's got
With
like
the hot
the
dogs and abs.
based on the lineup, it's like it's like Zack Snyder favorites and sprinkled in with a few like late 2010 stars and like Sophia. That was the girl from what's that one Secret Service movie?
Not sure.
With, God, why can't I think of the
I don't
name?
know.
It's got Colin Firth.
Kingsman?
Oh, Kingsman.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
got that bad guy from the Kingsman. Man, where's
Yeah.
she been? Oh, she's also in the.
I don't even
Mummy,
know her
I
name.
guess.
Anyway,
She was she was the one with the knife legs in Kingsman.
until we get a
You got
trailer,
Ray
I mean,
Fisher.
I'll be
Ray
curious.
Fisher
Yeah,
hasn't
Ray
been in
Fisher's in
anything
it.
since
Yeah,
Charlie Hunnam.
yeah. I mean, I'll
Jenna
be
Maloney.
I'll be curious to check it out. I will check it out, but I'm kind of skeptical and cautious going in. That's just me though. With anything Zack Snyder style wise, that's right off. Let's jump over to a little bit of Star Wars news. There's been really not a lot recently. There's been not a lot of anything, but our first look of Ahsoka in Lego form has revealed some interesting little things. These are, well, let's put it this way. They've released a little Lego figure of Hera Syndulla and her son, Jason Syndulla. Now, I'm going to explain this because of Jason. Jason, you do not know too much about how Rebels ended, but at the end of very, very end of Rebels, it appears that Hera Syndulla became pregnant to Kanan Jarrus, who is the Jedi of the Rebels series, and some years later they have a kid, and we do see this kid in a futuristic kind of forward.
Oh, so you guys were talking about the monkey ears.
Yes, and this was what they animated in the Rebels for about 2.5 seconds. We see this character sitting
It's
next
like
to
a
Hera
character.
flying.
It's like a character from Doug.
Yeah, let's
He's
put
a
it this
jarring
way.
person to look
Let's
at.
put it this way: the response from the public were not exactly positive to that kind of look and style of a half human, half
Twi'lek.
Twi'lek character. in this image here, you can see the tips of his ears are green and his hair is green. It might just go down the fact that it could be hair dye, because the Lego version of Jason Syndulla is this character right here, which actually looks almost human.
That's how they're going to explain the tips of his ears. He did a poor
Maybe-
job.
I know.
on his
Yeah,
hair.
that's it. It could be just green
Well,
dye.
he's older now, so maybe it's like like a vegetable or like a berry, and it starts to blossom and it's
Well,
still
just-
green and it just starts to
this-
turn more red.
So his head is
Maybe
rotting.
Maybe it's like that. Not necessarily
this-
rotting, but ripening.
Ripening.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Who
No, let's hope not.
knows? I've
because-
never seen like a half Twi'lek human
Yeah, good
before. As far
they've
as
actually
we know.
they've actually animated one in the Clone Wars to one of the clone troopers who has a kid with a Twi'lek who got a half. But they're more Twi'lek than they are actually human. So, being the case, this
Yeah,
kid
what
looks
did they like run out of time when they designed that character? It's like we need to show him real quick.
Well,
Like, what happened?
It was a payoff to a moment that happened in the last episode. And
Well, yeah, I understand its context, but like,
right.
why does it look so ugly?
The kid looks ugly as hell. I mean, like, yeah, I again, it must have been just a very fast, quick trade-off.
I mean, like, we need a character quick.
yeah,
But
possibly.
by like a background person, and then they
I
just
don't know.
grab that model.
I mean,
and threw
the
it in.
good
It's like,
the good thing is
shit,
Dave
hair
Filoni's
color.
had about 5 years to kind of stew on the information about what it is. So hopefully, I've got no idea.
Don't give me the visual of Dave
here's-
Filoni stewing.
So here's the first thing. First, we assume that Jason Syndulla is a character in Ahsoka. We don't actually know. I know of nothing of a kid being cast as that character.
he would have to be if he's in a Lego set.
I would assume so. It seems like Legacy.
Yeah, Legos is
but-
notorious for showing us spoilers.
Correct.
You know,
But here's the other thing. We've got two characters that don't exist in Star Wars Rebels. On the left here, we've got First Officer Hawkins and the calamari Lieutenant Beta. I think his name is Beta. So I don't know if they're members of the crew of the Ghost or whether they're actually just other Rebel soldiers. Sometimes Lego tend
sometimes,
to
believe
throw
it or
that
not,
stuff in.
sometimes they're just brand new characters in Star Wars, Brent.
No. I just don't know if they're members of the Ghost.
They were
which
there
is
the whole
ship.
time, just
Because
off
this is the Lego set. that's
Apparently,
come out.
they are because they come with the Ghost ship.
Well, it doesn't mean that Lego. Sometimes Lego don't always actually put the characters that belong in the playset as part of the playset. But who knows? Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. We don't know. But I'm excited because it's the Ghost. I love that ship so much. I love it maybe more than the Millennium Falcon. That's saying a lot. Because I really love that ship. But yeah, this is their first ship that they're releasing of the new Ahsoka series, and it kind of leaked online apparently this past week. We were supposed to be getting a
It's the
trailer
Star
too
Wars,
for
it's the Star
Ahsoka.
Wars equivalent to a B-52 bomber.
Pretty much, yeah. It's cool. It's just cool. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't really kind of say too much more about what's going on in the series. Outside
Looks like
of
that's a cool set though.
Yeah, it's a cool set. It's about you know what they said the piece. I saw it somewhere, but it's supposed to be like $169 for the set. So it's still pretty expensive, but it's Lego. What can you say?
Legos has been consistently expensive ever since the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, but they've got a few more coming out later in the year that is Star Wars related, apparently.
Wait, so so about the changes they made on him, his hair's not green anymore, and you're all freaking out about it.
No, whoa, no. I'm not freaking. No, I'm not freaking out. I'm glad that they've changed it. There's a lot of the internet that's kind of freaking out, going, "Oh my god,
He looks
is
like a
that really-"
person now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I figure. I just found it really funny that a 2-second character that you see at the end of season, 4 of Rebels of the series finale, becomes this massive big talk. Like, we really are struggling for Star Wars news right now. So as we're waiting for Ahsoka to come out, we're getting the Lego toy set, and it's all about Jason Syndulla's green hair. I think that's fantastically funny. It was all over Twitter for the last 2 days.
Slow
It's been
news week.
Slow news week for Star Wars, and
We're all like
I-
spending a good 10 minutes on a Lego set.
yeah.
What's it? Speculations.
Hey, it's
hair's not
Ahsoka.
green anymore.
I'm excited for Ahsoka. I'm excited to see what toy lines come out. I'm hoping, like, there's a massive rumor that Hasbro Pulse might be doing a toy scale, 3 3/4 inch scale of the Ghost as part of their Hasbro set, and if it is, I'll be signing up to get that ship done.
What
If that happens.
what toys have they released of the Ghost?
They've only released the game version of X-Wing game, and I've got it there. It's about maybe a 6-inch scale model of the Ghost itself. And I think they've released some Micro Machine scale versions, but they've released nothing, say, the size of the Millennium Falcon Hasbro toys, size or anything yet. So, yeah, I mean, again, they've been waiting for live. Well, correction, I say they've been waiting for live action, but we did see the Ghost in Rogue One in a couple of shots. But I think they're waiting for this series to be
More live action.
Oh, more live action, absolutely.
This is the background piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was also in Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah. Every ship's in that show.
It might be,
in
but
that
it was
movie.
not. It was not actually. Actually, was it in there?
I think it was.
There's that one,
was-
there's
it was
that one
seen in it, that's
split
it.
second when you
Yeah,
see
it
all
was.
the ships
It was
show
probably
up.
was. Yeah.
Everyone was freaking out about
That's what
like
it was
that
too.
ship and a few others. I can't remember. That was the one I remember being there. That everyone was like,
Yeah,
"Oh my
the other-
god!"
The other one was the
Remember when-
Resistance ships from Resistance.
Remember when the trailer came out and how much
Yeah, yeah.
speculation, how much like screenshots we got of that one moment? And
Yeah.
everyone's like, "What? All these ships."
But that's how that's how that little piece of animation story
I think-
connected and resonated with people.
According
they
to-
love the characters around.
According to Ryan Airy, one of those ships was your mom.
Of course.
Shout out to Screen Crush,
Screen Crush. There you
friend
go.
of the show, Ryan Airy, right, Brent?
Yeah, well,
friend
he's
of the show.
friend of mine, not friend of the show. He's anyway, whatever.
Well, he should be friend of the show.
Well, he's busy. What can I say? Yeah, so there's that. Let's talk about Infinity. Infinity War. I was about to say
Infinity of Destiny.
No. I was going to say let's talk about Secret Invasion. What do you think? How do you guys feel about this season? We're halfway through the series right now.
I mean, it's the only season so far, so I feel good.
I like
Right.
the Super Scroll.
Oh, look at that! He's got all like the Fantastic Four powers.
Of course.
The-
Oh yeah.
So,
Super Scroll.
so breaking down what powers they have
The Skrulls?
Extremis, they have some Groot
Oh, yeah.
DNA, they have Cull Obsidian's hand from when he chopped it off in New York, right?
And they had that thing
And-
from
Oh, really?
Asgard, right?
Okay.
And that what Asgardian thing?
It wasn't it the Asgardian beast
Oh,
from the end of
no,
Thor 2?
Jotunheim, Ice Beast.
Yeah, the Jotunheim
Right.
Ice Beast. That's what
Yeah,
I meant, yeah.
that's it from the end.
What do you get from the Ice Beast? What do you think they'll get
You
from
haven't
that?
seen it yet.
Ice powers, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, what kind of powers does that have?
Who knows?
It's just
I
big
haven't
and,
seen
and
it
a
yet.
beast. I guess it could withstand ice, but it's kind of cool. I don't know. So, Brent, you mentioned when we were watching it, you mentioned like Gaia can't be dead. They casted
They cast Daenerys,
Daenerys
as
as
dragons.
her-
He's
Yeah,
dead.
yeah,
Kill her
yeah.
that
They
shell
can't kill her
isn't.
halfway through the season.
No, yeah.
But so you guys think she has Super Scroll powers?
No, she's going to be
no.
Abigail Brand.
Sneaked them yet?
Abigail Brand for sure.
I feel like. Sorry.
There's this character. She
Yeah.
runs Sword. She's also a mutant. Her name is Abigail Brand. She was created by Joss Whedon. She basically is the Nick Fury of space.
All right.
I think that Gaia took Abigail Brand's body as a shell to be one step ahead of everyone else, but she's not
Oh.
Abigail Brand, so she got shot and killed.
So Amelia Clark is going to play Abigail Brand.
Oh.
I think she's gonna come out
that's
of that
interesting.
coma or whatever that the trance they put him in, and she's gonna be pissed. And she's gonna be that other reverse end of Nick
That's
Fury,
interesting.
she's a lot scarier because she's also could be a threat. She's a little
Really?
bit more benevolent and a little bit more on her own side
Okay.
than Nick Fury is.
So he
That's
gets still get to utilize
So you
Emily
think?
Clark
So
as,
you-
as an actor.
Yeah. It
in the
makes sense.
series.
I think they'll keep
Oh,
her
that's
long
cool.
term. I think she could be Abigail Brand.
Interesting. So you still think that that the daughter is
That
dead?
guy is dead.
Guy is dead. She bit the
Guy is
dust.
dead,
She got
yeah,
shot
yeah.
and killed.
Okay.
For sure, Z's.
Interesting. Yeah, because
Alright.
that could. I never thought about that. That could definitely change up the second half of.
Yeah, but we're
The
not
season.
invested in her human form in this series, though. You know what I
correct.
mean?
No,
It
it's
would
not
be
that.
like-
It's not going to be about that. But it's
would be
just,
like
she's gonna be
introducing-
another.
Ben Mendelsohn's like real human form, who is somewhere out there, but Talos
sure.
just chooses to be him for the
Okay.
rest of his life.
Yeah.
I think they could even save it as a post credit scene. But I think
Oh, that's interesting. I like
I think
that.
there's a reason they cast
wanna-
Amelia Clark, and it wasn't
you wanna
just stunt
keep her-
casting.
Yeah, keep her in the series somehow.
Yeah,
through
totally,
that.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'd like to see
She
her
looks the
return as
part.
Kira in Star Wars. If
All right.
if-
So-
yeah,
If Gaia did survive,
yeah.
I mean, it would be kind of cool to have a Super Scroll on their side. Maybe we just missed when the extremists kind of
Maybe
healed
I
up.
honestly
you know?
hadn't thought about her
Maybe-
getting Super Scroll powers. But it would make sense that she might. Be one of
She's
the top
like
people
working
too.
really closely with the program, so there could have
Well, if
been a
Stromas
chance.
was still unstable, wouldn't
that
she
makes sense.
pop?
No, that's just
Huh?
if you have like the wrong inhaler.
Oh,
I think it's been perfected since. I don't know.
Hmm.
We've seen it sprinkled throughout the series. When was the
hang on
last
a
time we saw Extremis was in
Wait,
Shang-Chi?
I was gonna say,
Like, the
out of all
fighting
those,
cage?
out of all those powers, what would be the one power that would actually kind of protect you against the bullet, or at least show you?
Extremis.
Extremis would be okay.
You get
Yeah, you're
literally
right. Yeah.
killed,
Yeah.
and then your body will heal back.
Well, Groot
So,
actually has
could be-
healing powers as well.
Yeah,
That's
Didn't they
true,
have
but I
some
think they're just
DNA
gonna
in
use
there?
his tentacle powers.
yeah.
We're just gonna see some scroll tentacles, and that'll be like the Groot. So we got to work through this checklist. And
Yeah,
who
okay.
Cull Obsidian have anything to do with this? What are his powers? You know?
Strong.
He's just strong, just a big monster.
Okay.
Well, I
so-
think they're
his
trying to
hand.
use Cole Obsidian because he has that same rock formation. I think
Okay,
they're going to
black
try
rock,
and use that like the same kind of hand.
uh-huh.
For like
So it'd just be like a
tank,
big
and
monster.
Being
hand.
strong means you could take. Being
Well, it's
strong
going
means
to
you
be
could take a
reminiscent
bullet.
of this, and
Yeah.
then instead of fire, it's going to be ice.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Well, the Extremis will handles any gunshots or cuts or anything like that. We know that.
Yeah.
That's probably like the most information we have on any of these
Yeah.
elements of the Super Scroll.
Personally, I don't think she is dead. I think there'll be this moment where it'll be revealed that the reveal of her being dead and oh god, what's his name? The father.
But Talos will
yeah,
find
Talos.
out she's dead,
yeah, and he'll make.
and
a-
then he'll go on
nuts.
like a whole
He'll
like
rampage.
John Wick spree,
Sure, no, totally, yeah.
and then she'll
And
show
then she'll be
up.
alive. Then she'll show up.
She'll like show up with powers.
Totally.
Like
Yeah.
that's what I see happening.
Okay, yeah. Maybe,
Oh,
that-
man.
And then
If I was
Maria
Cole, I
Hill
would just-
will show up as a
No,
super.
she's got to. She's got to
I'm
remain dead.
joking,
Out of
I'm
the
joking.
out of the
I'm
sanity
joking.
of how this show goes, to keep that real. I mean, at this point,
No, like her
out of
mom
the-
was mad. Of course she's dead.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
She's
But-
in a box. He got chewed out by a woman.
What,
So,
what do
yeah.
we make of the roadie thing at the end of the episode?
Oh yeah, we didn't catch that in our first screening. That was Brody on the other side of the.
Oh,
phone.
really? You didn't
I didn't.
catch
I didn't
that?
catch it. No, I didn't catch that.
Oh,
He's
what?
here.
Wait, what?
Deal with
What do you
it.
mean? What are you
Brody's
talking about?
talking. Brody's talking to
Brody,
Nick Fury's
is
wife.
talking
Oh,
or
Rhodey.
woman. Yeah, Brody. Yeah,
Rhodey.
Brody. Did I say Brody? Oops.
Said
Sorry.
Brody like
All
5
right,
times.
Brody. Sorry.
He's a scroll.
Brody.
That's for sure.
See, here's where I think
how
everyone could be
long?
wrong. Wait. Hear me out on this one. This
In
is
the
where I
first
think-
episode, when,
No,
when,
no, no.
when you show him, he calls him Nick. That's the biggest giveaway right there.
No one calls him that.
Yeah, I
No
know,
one
but
calls
I
him
feel
Nick.
no. Wait. No, I feel like that's
What do you
too
feel like, Brent?
obvious. I think he's covered himself into the system. I think he is that well covered himself as human into tracking, and he's already aware of all this. I swear. I think he is already purposely,
no,
consciously
I don't get that
working
much
as a
credit to
double
Rhodey.
agent. I think he's a double agent, right? No, I think he's a double agent.
I think he's a
already.
triple agent.
Triple agent? As
So he's a good scroll.
Triple H, that's what I mean.
But he's a good scroll.
I think he's infiltrated, and he's been aware of this for a long time. He has been doing all this, for a while. He was around during the blip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get
That's it.
blipped.
Yeah, he didn't get blipped. So I got a feeling that he discovered a lot of this, and it's going to create an internal conflict between him and Nick Fury because he knows maybe more than Nick Fury at this point, is my guess. Oh.
I think a lot of people know more than Nick Fury right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just too obvious that Rhodey is a Skrull. It just doesn't feel like it's going to be what it's going to turn out to be. I think he's infiltrated the Skrull system, personally.
Do you think there's anyone else that's going to be a Skrull within the Avengers? Maybe Spider-Man?
No. Because I don't think we're going to see
I
Spider-Man.
don't think we're not getting Tom Holland in this.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty easy to casually reveal he's a Skrull.
He just takes off the mask and suddenly he's a Skrull.
Because this Spider-Man always tells everyone he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Isn't he pretty not Spider-Man-y Spider-Man at times?
Well, I guess everyone's like been memory wiped, so he has this fresh slate right now, so he can stay pretty secret.
Yeah. That would include Skrulls as well. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, I personally, I don't know if I've been enjoying the last 2 episodes as I enjoyed the pilot. I thought the pilot was good on this series. The second 2 have been informative, but very slow moving for me. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the show so far overall, just as a entertainment value? Is it up there? Is it kind of mediocre?
I like it. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think that they're being a little soft on. I think, the stuff with Nick Fury's wife could be a little handled differently.
Why is that?
I just wish she was more in the forefront of the show. She's very much in the background in just like 2 scenes.
Okay. Mind you, so was Val. Back when she first popped up, she kind of popped up briefly, and then
but she's not going to be a character that's going to run throughout multiple shows. It's supposed to be just kind of a character that's supposed to appear in this.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
It's hitting the marks where like at the end of every episode, we're like, oh man, what the hell?
Yeah,
like crazy cliffhangers. So it's
I would not put it past you to bring in David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury from that whole thing to throw him in this.
Oh really? Yeah. I hadn't thought
Canonically, in the comics, that's the current situation where that OG Nick Fury is current Nick Fury's who looks like Samuel L. Jackson's father.
Right. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So if they need to bring in Nick Fury's dad, I mean Hasselhoff is the way to go.
I mean Hasselhoff is already established in the Marvel universe as David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
So where does he play himself?
In Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he had a picture of David Hasselhoff that he carried around.
Oh, he did.
And then even like and Ego even turned into him for a sec.
Yeah. Yep.
So David Hasselhoff as an actor and Knight Rider has been established in this universe. So it'd be like if they were to talk about Pulp Fiction, and say that Samuel L. Jackson is a person in this universe,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's wild. I guess he can't be Nick Fury Sr.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh.
Were you banking on that, Max?
The whole reason Samuel L. Jackson took the role of Nick Fury is because he saw the Hasselhoff project and said, I want to do the opposite of that.
Oh, man.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, we've got 3 episodes left. We'll be reacting to each and every one of the episodes. But
Bruce Campbell
was Nick Fury Sr.
That'd be
I want to
good.
see more Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell's just fun.
Pizza Papa was really Bruce Campbell's. Was really Nick Fury.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Pizza Papa was kind of a waste of Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I wish there was a bit more to that. They could have been playing.
I would have put him as Mr. Fantastic. That would have been funny.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about that.
He could just been a complete jackass as Mr. Fantastic. I would have ate that whole thing up.
Oh, you meant as a
variant in Doctor Strange instead of John Krasinski just coming in being kind of like a normal Mr. Fantastic. You put Bruce Campbell in as like just a super jackass Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, he would look like an Alex Ross drawing of Mr. Fantastic.
Right, I was thinking he looked like a kind of an out of shape Alex Ross drawing.
Yeah, he just looks like an Alex Ross type style person.
He got the chin.
Yeah, like he would
Yeah.
be a Batman in an Alex Ross universe, you know, like old.
Yeah,
Batman.
totally.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, that's last thoughts on this week's Secret Invasion. I guess. I guess we'll find out. We'll got 3 more episodes.
Our big question is Gaia dead?
Is Gaia dead? I don't think so. Personally, you guys think she's dead, but the original version of the character will pop up as a different act.
I still think it could be Abigail Brand.
Abigail
We'll
Brand.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's enough time. Is there enough run time to make that land?
Maybe
You know what I mean?
maybe it's an introduction at that point, and then she's down the track.
They already kind of did. They ghost introduced her with the sword station, or with the saber station.
All right. Interesting.
I think Saber is leading
And
to
they have
sword.
and as we know, they've infiltrated
Yeah.
key members of the world.
I guess we're gonna have to wait for the Marvels to come out to get more of Saber, right? We haven't really seen much. We sound like a Spider-Man.
I think they're even hiding
Far
the
From
name. I don't
Home.
think Saber's the official name. I think Saber's the station and Sword is the
All right.
is the company. Is not the company. The
Because it's been introduced for so long, but yet we haven't seen much of it. We've
I think
only
that's been the
seen,
problem
just a
with
glimpse of it.
That's been the problem since post.
I don't think anyone really knows what to do with Cosmic Marvel right now. I mean, even Guardians 3, as good of a movie it was, it didn't really push forward any cosmicness. It was like even Adam Warlock was reduced from cosmic god to little boy.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like I thought we'd get more of it during this series, Secret Invasion, but no,
it's very grounded on Earth.
It's very grounded.
That's what I kind of figured. It'd be like a spy drama with aliens.
Yeah, I mean those work best, I guess, for any type of like Shield level stuff or Nick Fury story.
But it
work
then
best that way.
It's
like Nick Fury and spaceships. Come on now.
Yeah, it's just like the whole the whole multiverse kind of thing. They've been playing around it so many times and leading us to think it's going to be something big.
Yeah, but always leads to a dead end. Like they never.
That's it.
Yeah.
The multiverse stuff has not been expanded on at all.
Sure,
it's just
and everyone's opening it up in different ways, which doesn't even make sense at this point. Like if
someone
opens it up,
just to come up
I
with
just
a big
expect
finale.
Doctor Strange to slap him.
I want to see a big build-up. That was the other news I did see this week, was that Benedict Cumberbatch kind of hinted that they might be doing something with Doctor Strange next year too.
Yeah. The only device they use multiverse for so far is fanfare, dude.
Fan service. They don't know how to use it properly, and it's ruining
That's
the
all.
idea of multiverse. It's the idea is becoming played out because they're not doing anything interesting with it.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to be Multiverse of Madness. I thought they were going to change the entire game and the whole like multiverse stuff. All we got was like Charlize Theron and a third eye.
Yeah.
What do you think about Deadpool 3? Deadpool 3 is going to have it.
Let's talk about that. They're talking.
We got Jennifer Gardner. We got coming back. Do you think they'll play the Evanescence song? They have to.
They have to.
Who, sorry?
It's Deadpool.
The song they played in the movie that while she's killing all that sand.
Okay. It's a rock band that was really popular at the time.
Okay.
I wouldn't say really popular.
It was, bro.
No, the song was hella popular.
That's what I mean.
The song was hella popular. But name like 3 Evanescence songs besides Bring Me
No,
Away.
but that's like name like 3 Aha songs. But that song was really popular.
I know, but you said they were a popular rock group. They weren't Papa Roach.
They were. Yes, they were like on the radio all the time. That counts
they
as
were
being
not
really
like 3
popular.
days. They were not like what was that band? 3 Days Grace or Breaking Benjamin or whatever.
I have something
at that level.
I have something to admit.
Yeah, they were all over the place, bro. And they had a huge impact on pop culture.
Wait.
I have something to admit. I've never watched Elektra.
Fake goth kids.
Elektra? I mean, that movie is a stone cold anti-classic.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so
it's got the reverse of a cult following where it's just me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think like
fair enough.
Yeah, fake goth kids. Like most people know that song, bro. Like that.
I know it's true. I'm saying the song was hella popular, but the Evanescence as a band, they weren't a headliner.
Right. Well,
All
either
right.
way,
Well, regardless,
Be the
semantics,
case.
bro. Like it's a
Be the
Yeah,
popular
case.
it's
song. I
literally
should've just
semantics.
said
It's semantics.
that. They ain't no
We
Linkin
need
Park, that's for
Creed-
sure.
Creed.
That's
to
what I'm
be-
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh. Okay, fair enough. They wouldn't know.
Papa Roach. You brought up Papa Roach.
I have
I was
no
trying to
idea
remember
who
Papa
bands.
these
Roach.
bands
I was
are. I
trying to
have no
remember
idea who.
bands. I couldn't think of anything. I had Papa Roach in my head for some reason.
But yeah, Elektra is like a relic of a time. And they've
Yeah.
got to put that song in. Like, they've got to
Fair
put Evanescence in. It wouldn't
Fair
hit. It's part of that movie, you know?
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
huge role in that movie, the same as like Jennifer Garner is.
Fair enough.
But
Okay.
see, this is where, I mean, multiverse works good in Deadpool because it's a kind of a joke, you know?
Sure. No, totally. Yeah.
I think Deadpool's gonna beat it to death before other people get a chance to.
Deadpool's a what?
He's gonna beat the idea of the multiverse to death before other people get the chance to.
Yeah, and I
Maybe.
mean that's the best way to bring it in, you know, because like you guys consider where Marvel, the MCU, is coming from. It
Yeah.
started out as like a grounded version of like all these superheroes and stuff,
Yeah.
and now they're trying to expand beyond that and be all fantastical. But
I mean,
Deadpool has
Wouldn't it
the-
be funny if Deadpool was the reboot of this entire, multiverse?
I think it's gonna end with him dragging files on a computer and dropping them over to a Marvel Studios file.
yeah. Oh, see, yeah. See, this is where
really?
Deadpool has like
That's
the
funny.
freedom to be doing that type of stuff with like less consequence, you know, because it's already tongue in cheek,
Sure.
like naturally, inherently tongue in cheek. So they could be very experimental and go all over the place without me going too
Now,
crazy.
we say they
could do what
could be. They could also be
She-Hulk
very.
did on a grander scale.
Yeah.
Was that?
Also,
They
you
could
say
do what
that-
She-Hulk did, where She-Hulk broke the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And got around the whole traditional Marvel ending by just having
how
Jen be Jen.
just
They could
bring
really just show
bring her into Deadpool at one point.
I was just
to
thinking
give
that.
it- that'd be
Once
awesome.
Deadpool realizes in the Marvel universe, you could have
totally.
Jen show up and just be like, "Hey, man,
Totally.
They got the same powers. They can talk to
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. The fourth
break
wall.
the fourth wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly."
break it
She'd be the
together.
first person to say, "What are you doing here?" Like
That would be
you're
the
supposed to
funniest
be
scene in the film
over
if
there,
that
and points to
happens.
like a different
Yeah.
like multiverse screen or something like
Totally.
that.
Like, oh, you know them too? You could-
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be.
But
that
they're
would be
both talking to
extremely
different
funny.
people.
We'll see how that plays out. What, 2 years from now, does the movie get released, or is it next year? I can't remember.
I think it's supposed to be next. They're filming right now. I just saw
Yeah.
some set photos.
It probably will be next year. Yeah, yeah. Because we're seeing shots of what's his name?
Ryan Reynolds in the outfit.
Hugh Jackman. Sorry. Oh yeah, there's been the image
Yeah,
of
just that
Ryan
photo that
Reynolds
got
and the
released
other-
last week.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, actually, I should have pulled that one. I forgot. But
So there's been some crazy reports
wait.
of who's going to be in this movie versus like they decide. We know Hugh Jackman, obviously. He was the
Obviously.
first person that they reported.
yeah,
But it could be, people are saying Halle Berry, James Marsden.
really.
People are saying
Yeah, Halle
that Ian
Berry.
McKellen could be in it. People are saying
Did
that
you see?
Jessica Alba could be in it.
Did you guys see the rumor that Robert Downey Jr. was on set, visiting on set of Captain America 4?
Yeah, I think the full story of that was he's filming something for his car show and was just in the area.
Oh yeah, he's got a car show coming.
He was.
He's hitting all the
Yeah,
beats
yeah.
of like a huge
Yeah.
star. You know, they just get a show
Sure.
with cars in it.
Yeah.
His show makes me very mad. He's one of the wealthier actors. He's also his father was a very rich actor,
Right.
and the whole
He's a
show
nepo kid.
he gets paid as an actor to transform his cars into his dream cars.
Oh really?
Like, it's
it's-
just
so
throwing
it's all
money
about
at an
him.
already rich
Sounds
person.
like sounds like a Tony Stark arc, dude.
Sure.
It sounds
Hey,
like a tax
going on
write-off
that?
to
If
me.
it works, then it
Yeah.
works. Good for him if it is. I guess.
Well, it's like let's take Pimp My Ride, Iron Man, and Top Gear and throw them into one show.
I actually don't know anything about the show. This is the first time I've actually even hearing about it. So-
Yeah, that was the most of a synopsis I've ever heard of that show.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's on
From Max.
HBO Max. It's called
Okay.
Downey's Dream Cars.
Oh wow. Okay. And it's already playing on.
Yeah, he's got all episodes
Destroying-
now. I think he's filming more.
Wow.
And
Damn.
it's
They're
it just
destroying
took
these
really
cars.
This is
This is abomination.
He's turning a lot of classic cars into electric and stuff like that, and doing
really?
like, you know,
Okay.
just weird rich person stuff with cars and getting a studio to pay for it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
God damn.
Well, I want to jump back onto track again, guys. I went and saw Indiana Jones
There's a
again.
track?
For the
Oh.
there's. I try to keep a track. You don't usually keep a track.
I think of it more as rollerblades.
Yeah, well, you know,
It's like the track in Temple of Doom. It's just got breaks and jumps in it.
which
and
I
stuff, and
rewatched
it's
Temple of Doom
mostly
again
like
last night.
Dolls.
I went and rewatched Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny again for the third time this morning. And so far, in the last week and a half of its release, it's made $126 million domestically and $247 worldwide. So
Which sounds good on paper.
it sounds good on paper. I mean, it still
But-
needs. But
There's a
it's-
but.
It's not getting the traction it needs. So I really kind of wanted to get your opinion because last week Elijah and I are having a really cool conversation about just this summer's box office. There is
What did you
things
guys
that-
come to conclusion with during
We
that
didn't. That's the
that
problem.
amazing
We
what have
haven't-
you touched
I think
on?
Okay,
from
so
that?
so here's the thing.
Let's
We've
work
got
off
let's
of
let's
that.
start at the start at the beginning. The beginning of the summer, we got and then the Spider-Man and the Across the Spider-Verse, and it did exceedingly well. It's still to this day doing exceedingly well. It's animation, it's escapism, like any
It's
of the other films.
Spider-Man.
It is Spider-Man, guaranteed. That definitely draws a big swing to it, but it's also a very
swing.
well
Nice.
crafted,
Nice, Brent.
scripted, and animated movie. But then you go along and you end up by getting movies such as The Flash and across what's it called, Beast Wars, and then of course Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You're getting all these other big blockbuster films. Now there are several things happening here that they are not doing so well on their opening week. One of the big things is this summer we've got a particularly big build-up of COVID movies that were kind of put on hold or not released when they were originally going to be released. And now we've almost got a 1 week into the next, a big blockbuster, big budget film without any breathing space to actually
I know, but
get the chance to
Oppenheimer
do
and
it.
Barbie are going to do fantastic. Well,
I don't know if Barbie's going to do as well as people
Look at
think.
the memes.
It's got
Follow
the
the
clout.
meme.
It's got
Maybe.
the clout.
Okay,
Like,
All right,
yeah. As far as like that
It's gonna-
sector of pop culture, it
Yeah.
is racking some numbers, bro.
sure.
I know
And
multiple
the
people with
question
tickets
is-
for double features to Oppenheimer and Barbie in the same
Yeah, I think
day.
a lot of
It's-
people are planning on doing that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
I-
saying. They're gonna both do fantastic. I think
Sure.
part of the reason is lackluster IP projects versus finely crafted movies. And
Well, Barbie's not going to be a
was an
finely
IP
crafted
movie,
film. Yeah, Spider-Verse is an IP
but it was
movie,
also it wasn't just a shelled out, pooped out IP movie like The
Right.
Flash was. To be
So
honest,
that's the thing. We've got all these genre films that are expected to hype. The hype behind them have been big, and the audiences are just not going. The other part of this is it just the fact that audience got conditioned over the COVID period to want to sit home and not go to the big screen as much as they used to? It's cheaper to watch a movie on television.
I don't think that's
6
just
months
it.
or
I
3
think it's
months
a
from here.
combination
now.
of things.
It's not like Spider-Man still really did successful. People
That's it.
went to
And
theaters for
before that, so did the other animated film with Mario, Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, Mario did
Super
fantastic.
Mario.
I think
Yeah,
it's
and that did very
about
well, too.
quality of movie, and I think
But
when people see
also-
Flash, the quality's not
was
there.
was the Mario like really top quality?
Also-
Yes,
storytelling?
yes.
Really? I
Also,
thought it was
let me-
fun, but I wouldn't put it.
Also,
in
let me say this:
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse level. Sorry, yeah.
Mario and Spider-Man are currently, with this new generation, bigger IPs compared to Indiana Jones as well.
And
Exactly.
Transformers.
That
and
I agree
Transformers.
with.
And Transformers.
Yes.
See, because
Correct.
like as far as like Spider-Man and Mario go, they haven't fucked up yet. Indiana Jones it fucked up compared to a lot of people's opinion.
Okay,
they messed
you're
up
referring to number
stuff.
4 because
Yeah, so, like-
here's the interesting thing.
But people of my generation didn't grow up with the original movies in theaters.
Precisely,
They
yeah,
saw the
that's
last
what I'm
movie in theaters
yeah.
and said, "I'm not putting myself through that again."
Yeah, it did well.
Sure.
It's got one of the hugest openings and like biggest
Sure.
blockbusters. But that was at a time when Indiana Jones was still following
Sure.
its greatness.
Yeah.
It's failed once. It's trying to come back again, and that's gonna hurt. That's hurting it currently.
So
And plus, people are growing out. Like kids nowadays don't even know Indiana Jones. Their context to it is Crystal Skull and how shitty of that movie that was.
That's a big thing.
A lot of people's other opinion.
I was going to say, in all three cases of seeing Indiana Jones in this past week and a half, most of the audience is my age or around my age, which I was there from the beginning. I got to see it in the theaters at the beginning there. It's not a bad. Here's the thing: it's not a bad film, and it's also not a copy because people are saying that Crystal Skull was too silly and over the top.
But I'm not saying
this is a bit more serious and more kind of straight direct.
But I'm talking about it. Fun. I'm talking about an IP that resonates with a certain generation.
No, totally. That's where I want to go into.
It doesn't resonate with the younger generation. It's not trying to.
Yeah, but
like Spider-Man and Mario are gigantic.
Sure.
Like gigantic properties to this current generation and
absolutely.
A lot of generations following it because it gets everyone from Gen X to Gen Z.
So in that case,
because there's been consistent properties of Mario portrayed in each generation.
But so is Star Wars, and when Disney picked up the sequels,
then I'll go back to what I said earlier. Star Wars fucked up once to a lot of people. A lot of they came out with stuff that didn't resonate well with a huge amounts of audience.
Yeah,
but Spider-Man has been pretty solid so far because they, I mean. I guess the Andrew Garfield one's kind of struggled, but people are loving it again because of its introduction in
exactly. Exactly.
Like if anything, that was a pretty lackluster series. But
also, the prequel Star Wars movies weren't going up against what we had today. They didn't have as many big blockbusters at the time.
And that's the other thing.
When Star Wars did try to make all those movies at the same time, like Solo and Rogue One, they kind of struggled compared to what they expected.
Mm-hmm.
But they also released Solo against other films.
And we've been kind of sick of because Star Wars did its whole thing. They did a whole brand new trilogy.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones kind of we want to try to attach to that type of thing, but we're kind of done with the old nostalgic hype. I think it's just not.
I think that was
well
part of it.
Yes,
people want greater story over nostalgia, and
So
Indiana Jones was marketed primarily on nostalgia.
Now, and nostalgia is what brought the hype into The Force Awakens. That made over $2 billion in the box office, and I think even The Last Jedi made well over $1 billion in the
nostalgia
box office.
Also
and
got
they did well, but
nostalgia also got like Crystal Skull to be one of the biggest openings in Indiana Jones history as well.
Sure, yeah, but that was
also then, and this is now.
That was also then.
Nostalgia and all those movies. Just
it was 15 years ago.
And Force Awakens was a long time ago. Also,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that was very
kind of weird. Yeah, that's
it's been a really long time. And everyone's done what Indiana Jones has tried to do a lot since.
Sure.
Yeah, because Star Wars has not done so well since Force Awakens. It's it's always been struggle. It's been a downhill spiral since.
Right. So
because you're banking on nostalgia, it's not going to work anymore.
It's not working at this point.
Where Spider-Man, across the universe, it's a dynamic storytelling because you could still include all the nostalgia in there.
Totally.
It's got all the nostalgia in it, but it's still fresh storytelling.
They found this good blend between a good story and nostalgia.
It's great movie. It's a great movie.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
On all levels, and I think we've moved past the point where nostalgia will just do everything for you.
Right.
Yeah, I think Indiana Jones was a good movie, but a lot of the heavy lifting was nostalgia. I mean, it definitely wasn't a bad movie.
No,
but, there was a lot of heavy lifting in that movie done by the fact that they knew you loved the character.
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, nostalgia will work for you.
And the thing is, it's not a bad
works for the
film
purposes.
either.
But it wasn't Spider-Verse. It didn't.
No, you're right.
I couldn't get those. I wasn't as emotionally invested in the movie as I was Spider-Verse.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think, and not just that, but any other. We're talking about the Flash.
I think that's the problem with Indiana Jones too, is that people want movies with a great connection when they go see it in theaters. When they pay their money, they don't just want to have a bunch of action in their face anymore. They want something that they can connect to.
I don't know. We'll see.
Here, roll with me here. I think that's the reason why
okay,
Mission Impossible is going to take over the summer is because of the realness of the stunts, and it's going to feel real in a different way.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones felt real in a different way.
But there's
Spider-Man
already nostalgia to Mission Impossible. That film, the first one was made.
The nostalgia isn't the same kind of manufactured kind of beats.
Yeah, they're not relying
it has the
on
running, but there's no hat grabbing and specific like snakes. They have to it doesn't have the same kind of trophy.
There's the score.
It doesn't.
The only thing they're
going
to do is a mask thing. They're going to do a mask thing, and that's it. But
its reliance on nostalgia is pretty low on its list of things that it does in its movies.
Sure,
it's anything is relying on stunts, but
that's
why it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and I mean,
but
in the Flash, just also like. In a nostalgia-rich world where that would have sold, that would have been like a guaranteed win, right? You got Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman.
Sure.
That's all you need.
Totally.
I think 10 years ago, but the movie sucked. And then once movie got out that the movie was bad, no one wanted to see it. They were just like, I'll just wait to see an HBO Max because I don't want to see a bad movie.
But we've grown wise to their antics of trying to nostalgia farm us for views, but that doesn't work anymore. That's not what we need. That's not what makes good movies. Yeah. And this is
Spider-Verse didn't sell itself on all of the nostalgia and all the different Spider-Man in the movie. It sold itself on this is the ultimate Spider-Man story.
Well, the first Spider-Verse didn't do well on opening either.
But it's still like a.
But it built the hype. Exactly, it built in the hype.
Yeah, and it ended up getting a lot of. Because it's a good movie.
Oh, totally.
Instead of having to rely on opening weekend, which a lot of these nostalgia things will kind of ride on that.
Mm-hmm.
We need new IPs or fresh ideas of storytelling anymore.
But let me throw this out.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. It's not like just about new IPs. It's about fresh ways to tell that IP, and not just about changing it for your own needs. It's about finding the realness of those characters and what makes them tick and what makes them work. And
instead of just having them say old lines like "Let's get nuts" or something.
Sure. Exactly.
Just surface level shit. But that doesn't work.
Here's what I want to throw at you then differently: is it the time of the year? Summertime is expected to have all the big blockbusters.
I don't think so.
Wait. But if we release, if Indiana Jones was released back in February when it didn't have any other conflicting films, do you think that an audience might be more returning to going back or coming in a few weeks later to see this?
No, I mean we're in a world where there's Marvel movies. Theoretically, there was Marvel movies every 4 to 6 months for a while.
Yeah, this could have came out any time, and I think it would still do just as bad.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's just a problem of generational
no other factors.
It doesn't
COVID
make it
and people not going to theaters as much. No, it's not a bad film.
Sure,
I just think it wasn't the right time to do a movie like that the way they did it.
Yeah,
and I think,
just
the generation that would have made that movie huge isn't going to see those kinds of movies right now.
Right.
I think, the action is such a young person's game, especially right now as generational movies get younger and younger. Yeah. I think when I'm talking about younger cousins, they want to learn more about IPs, but they want to learn about how they can relate to them. And a young person's not going to relate to an Indiana Jones film as much as they can relate to Marvel or DC.
This kind of falls into our entire opening with the Superman animated series.
That's why that's doing
targeted
well
at a different audience. Not just younger, and it is animation made for kids.
Well, that was what was funny about Indiana Jones, though,
with the how they pronounce themselves, how they talk, how the speed of their dialogue is, stuff like that.
That's what was funny about Indiana Jones is that the young person, Phoebe Waller-Bridges, is like in her 30s.
Sure. Yeah. She's still very old. Yeah.
It's like elder millennials will relate to that one,
Right. But
I know that's what made me laugh. Like she's supposed to be like they have a kid paired with her to make just because they're trying to get like a few different generations in one swoop where they have I don't know. It just felt like a lot of that stuff didn't work with me. I don't know who that was trying to connect to because it's like it wasn't really like a mother-son dynamic. It was like a friend dynamic with her and the kid, and she was like way too old for that friendship.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough. What else is there that's coming out? There's that Oppenheimer comes out and Barbie, as you said.
Oppenheimer's going
They're
to
the
do
next
great.
big
I think
ones.
that and Barbie both have.
Well, Oppenheimer's rated R, right? So it'll do well in the rated R field. I don't think it's be a massive.
I mean,
blockbuster.
that's
I heard
like,
Cillian
that's-
Murphy hangs full dong.
Yeah,
That's
me
what
too.
Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan said.
Some extended nudity.
Oh, I can't. Oh, okay.
But
I just, as a film in general, I think it's going to be an. Actually, what's making me curious about that film is it's going to be the first
That's a
Christopher Nolan
world
film that
IP.
is not that is based around a historical character. So it's very hard for him to kind
Well,
of
I
take
mean,
his style of.
that's not his first time doing like something based on real events, though.
Of his biggest stuff though, so I'd be curious to see how. I hear.
I
It's
mean,
very
Dunkirk
artistic.
is like based on real events. You think it's like the same universe as
Oh,
Dunkirk?
you're right.
Like,
Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah.
Tenet was
could
based
be.
on real things that both have happened yet and haven't happened yet.
Yeah, good point. Because
Yeah.
Dunkirk was very. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I keep forgetting Dunkirk was based on historical events. It wasn't fabricated. Yeah, it'll be in that genre, I guess.
So it's like the Dunkirk. You can watch Dunkirk and then you can watch Oppenheimer. Dude, same universe.
Yeah, good
That's,
point.
that's
Yeah.
the secret ending.
Could be.
Yeah, but I think that's going to do good. A lot of people are like hyped about it. It's getting a lot. It's getting a lot more hype on like the internet than I've seen for any of these last movies that came out.
That and Barbie, they both have just crazy.
Yeah.
They've been getting memed
Barbie's
as
getting
like to the point of people are memeing
Sure.
it. Not that it's like a
Yeah.
joke, but like they genuinely want to see these movies.
You'll get like minion numbers.
go away,
because of the
Sutch.
meme
Go
rate.
away.
Yeah.
But, all of us here are so hyped for the Meg 2, even more Meg.
But yeah, I think we've come to a conclusion that the nostalgia doesn't work anymore. They should stop trying
Well,
to
it
farm
doesn't
that stuff.
work
because
as much, and that may change in the future because kids of this generation may be nostalgic in 20 years' time for.
Well, I mean,
Their character-
it's
they're
I
going
think,
to be.
yeah,
No,
but they're
but,
going to be
like-
nostalgic for different
But-
things. Like, I think Beetlejuice
Yeah.
2 is going to be one of the biggest flops because who the hell
Really?
are they going to market
Who
it
cares
to that
about
wants to
this,
see
man?
Beetlejuice
Okay.
2?
Yeah, exactly. Same. I'm thinking like
Yeah.
I'm looking at that and I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, who's
It's
it
just
for?
that-
Who is it? The audience for Beetlejuice is aged out of Beetlejuice, just remembers it as that wacky Michael Keaton movie.
Sure.
And young people haven't seen Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
There's no context for Beetlejuice for this other generation, dude.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
This
It's
makes
like, I don't know who it's
sense.
for.
You're right. Well, here's the thing
Yeah.
I also discovered today. Transformers Beast Wars actually worldwide it's made 400 million already.
Yeah, I mean, they
which
got a huge market
did well.
overseas for that.
They got
movie.
they got a huge market overseas. So
They always do well in
So-
China, dude.
this seems to be where I'm going with this. Also, is this doesn't seem to be just a United States thing. It seems to be a global thing. If Indiana Jones is getting, say, an audience, but not big enough to be like a $1 billion.
Well, it's because streaming killed it worldwide. I mean, everyone's got their own streamers. They could see movies at home, and
Exactly.
they know
So-
eventually it's going to be on one of their streamers that they subscribe to. So why
Right.
pay
So
additional money to go see it in theater?
yeah, which is
Yeah.
kind of sad because I mean, ultimately, I love going to the theater just to get the theatrical
Me
experience.
too, but streaming has disrupted the industry to the
Sure,
point where
yeah.
the industry
So-
is shut down right now
so
because,
taking it-
in part, due to streaming.
Yeah, so taking it back to that, and because COVID made us very, very comfortable with streaming because we couldn't
That's
go
the
out for
thing,
3
yeah.
years.
COVID added that too. People are way more
So-
just happy to watch a movie at home and it's acceptable to watch a brand new
So-
movie that was hundreds of millions of dollars to make on a TV that
Sure.
doesn't compare to a theater whatsoever.
You watch a trailer on your phone.
So there's
And
something
you're
else.
just like that. How does Oppenheimer look?
Well, that's
Brent,
it. That's
oh,
it. That's
real
it.
ass nuke. Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah. But here's the other thing as well. Going with that, when it comes down to it, I mean, I saw this really kind of what I'm going to consider very inaccurate thing about if Raiders of the Lost Ark, which cost $20 million or something like that to make back in 40 years ago, if Raiders of the Lost Ark was made today, it would only cost $66 million to make. And then people are going after that saying, well, why are movies so expensive? But here's the thing that wasn't around 40 years ago. There are all these different labor costs and additional costs of not just inflation, by the way, but there are other things, departments that never existed 40 years ago that now exist in this day and age that end up by
They'd have to
creating
pay
a
an
film
agency
that they have to
coordinator.
pay. yeah, so there is this element of people are always trying to make money, and so things didn't exist 40 years ago that people have to pay for to make a movie in this day and age, and that's automatically going to drive the cost of your film to $100 million or $200 million or much larger. So, in the reference of the cost of films, it's very hard to make what you would consider a blockbuster movie, whether it's a genre film or a brand new movie made, straight off the, without any connection to anything from the past, without spending that kind of money.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, is that because you can't spend that kind of money, because of streamers, people have devalued the actual worth of those $100 million movies. You look at Extraction, I loved Extraction. I liked Extraction too. But how much money are those physically bringing into Netflix per individual movie that they could just allocate that much money to it and it's profitable? And, how many other projects can they theoretically do that to before it's not profitable?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that becomes that this goes back to the studios and the studio heads. They kind of need to be kind of questioning this recent change and go, what are we going to expend for making these movies? And are we going to be better off doing both, putting it on the big screen and on streaming at the same time, or what? And I feel like there's an advantage to both, but there's a disadvantage for being able to go out and share the big screen experience as well. But that's a personal experience. That's
the whole thing is, it's who do they want? It's like when you go see a movie in theaters, it's a better experience, but the back end changes depending on which day you go see it in theaters, versus when it comes out. And if they're putting it on their own service, sure, the experience isn't as good. They can control the back end a little more to some extent, as long as they're controlling the market.
Yeah,
and I think that's where the flaw lies, is they can't exactly, it works if everyone has every streamer and everyone's paying every month. But once, people, are sharing passwords, Netflix can't afford to put out these $100 million movies. They got to start cracking down on password sharing. And, it's like a cyclical cycle of.
They stepped back from that, though. They tried, and then they're like, never mind. Just go ahead.
Well, they saw mass people just going, never mind. Because they weren't asking people to not share passwords. They were saying, if you share your password, we're going to charge you more. And people said, we already pay enough. Every streamer's increasing their price.
It's like, I'm just going to cancel it.
Because I don't need you. So many people have multiple streamers now. They're like, I'll just cancel Netflix and watch everything on HBO Max. Look at the same shit eventually.
Yeah, exactly. It all just goes across the whole board on all the streaming sites anyways. So.
Malloy, are you talking about like live theater or the theaters, movie theaters? Because theater will have a huge comeback. I guess theater has never gone away.
That's thinking.
Live theater hasn't exactly gone away. That still brings in.
Yeah.
I have a cousin who works on Broadway. He just tells me just like, yeah, dude, it's a whole different thing where it's just like you wouldn't expect it to make that as much money as it makes, but those tickets go for a lot, and those performances sell out fast.
It's like art galleries and museums,
sure.
Nothing's
there'll always be a interest in it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
the Guggenheim's not going to go away.
Yeah, Guggenheim's not going anywhere. You can have digital museums, but still, you're not going to get that same feel. So that stuff's going to stick around.
But the whole, people still want to go to the theaters and get away or watch a show, for escapism, and that's always going to.
We're not going to stop getting movies.
No, we're not going to get movies, but people.
And if it's a movie is genuinely good, it's going to rise to the top and be successful.
But it seems to take a lot more to get something as good of a script and as good as a visual.
Now that not everything will make it. We've grown we can see through things now. You can't just bait us with nostalgia anymore. It has to be actually a good movie, and the good movies that they come out with will do well and people will love them. You don't need gimmicks anymore. Gimmicks aren't the thing that makes good movies anymore. We've been fooled many times by that shit. Now it's just genuinely great storytelling in movies.
Yeah.
It's a landscape that's changing and people are becoming a lot more cynical now.
I know.
And so And so like we see through a lot of like the gimmicks and stuff that you try to use to sell something.
No, totally.
Especially after this last like Star Wars stuff, you know, it's become
But
relentlessly just releasing so much stuff on Star Wars that like that's not even a guaranteed win anymore. You think like Indiana Jones is a guarantee.
There is more of Marvel than there is Star Wars. But anyway, beside that, Indiana Jones, yeah.
But yeah, you'd think in like on paper, Indiana Jones, that should be a guaranteed win, right?
No, that's what they were.
But it's not. It's not. And like, I think that's just like the hard lesson to learn from this is that just because it's an IP that is beloved throughout generations, it's not going to resonate well with the current generation.
Current generation, exactly.
And we went through that, like Indiana Jones versus Mario. People are more invested in a Mario IP than Indiana Jones currently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with like Spider-Man or even Sonic the Hedgehog.
But then the risk factor is always going to be there. You want to try to bring in a new generation. Would the risk factor be don't spend
either that or it's just gonna or it's done, you know?
It's done. Or it's
like
done.
Flash Gordon.
Yep.
Like it was huge.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon used to be huge, but no one knows who the hell that is anymore. It had its time.
With the exception of what went through into Star Wars from that. So it's really about reinventing a character or characters without
and that's how we're gonna get from Rebel Moon, and that's how we're gonna get that's how we got from that's how we got Indiana Jones in the first place too. Like that's not purely original either.
So the question then becomes, do we get the action adventure hero back at some point, or are superheroes the new action adventure kind of genre?
You know what,
do really superheroes necessarily are. I think
it's not. It's just not in the form of Indiana Jones anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I think if they were to do like a new Mummy with Brendan Fraser, would probably have a lot more better chance of success than a new Indiana Jones currently.
I don't know. That's the thing.
Because of the generation
really
attachment. Yeah. You got to consider, Brent, you're from a different generation.
Wow. Thank you for reminding me.
There's two more preceding you right now.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's something that you consider. That's so you don't resonate with this new Superman. And you know, you attached to this Indiana Jones that came out, which is.
But I resonated more with Brendan Fraser's Mummy than I did with the Tom Cruise Mummy, for example. So that's just
no one resonated with that Mummy.
Yeah, that was just a bad movie.
Exactly. Right. But what I'm saying is, if they made a brand new action adventure hero character that was loosely based in the 1930s or 40s, without it being an Indiana Jones character, and do we think that would find an audience?
Let's consider the stuff that has filled the void of the action adventure character. You have John Wick, which is a huge IP right now, which is action. Tomb Raider within these past few decades have filled that void of like the archaeologist action adventure person. Uncharted was an attempt.
Didn't do well.
That could have been like a really good IP, but they just
The games are a huge IP. I'd say that filled
the games are doing well, and that's another medium to consider. Like a lot of people are invested in that medium of video games and stuff.
I think that's where the action adventure kind of journey games lies.
Yeah, the same.
Right now.
The experience,
40 hours in the story.
Yeah, the experience you had, Brent, of watching Indiana Jones in the theater or at home or enjoying it on your own. People are getting that level of experience from video games right now.
Oh, completely. Okay, so let's throw this in. As more computer games being made into live action films, for a while there they didn't do too well. They're starting to improve.
It's because of bad writing and bad directing.
That's where I'm going. And not knowing the source material.
And
that's the main
thing. A reliance on IP and IP only, without any like good stories.
Just
quick buck to just like mention a familiar thing.
Yeah. But think about that. The Tomb Raider movies did well, but just by being mostly name alone.
Right.
That's because even though they had the heart of the game, they didn't take any of the story, but they were just like, we'll just use what the games are generally about and just tell our own bullshit, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But that was from a different time, where that stuff was doing all right.
That's well over 20 years old too.
And it's Armis in that role or something like that, or whoever's popular today.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes like this kind of totem on like who would represent who at this moment. You know, they've recasted her like many times, and it evolves just like the game does. You know, but like as far as like just a lot of the problems with the video game movies was that no good story writing. You could just easily get like a generic action movie and slap a sticker on it, like saying like, "Oh, this is this."
But that is changing. And that is starting to change.
We're at a golden age of like video game IP into movies.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to understand that it's going to mean more than just a name.
So,
and that's like the overall conversation that we're having right now.
Let's reverse that again. A game has come out that's extremely popular, something like Jedi Survivor, and a character like Cal Kestis for the Star Wars Jedi Survivor stuff. People want to see Cal Kestis as a live action.
But that's character. Not that's part of a real IP. Different. That's part of that's different.
Exactly,
that's already Star Wars.
So do you think that's the kind of thing, if being brought into a film and done right, will end up by drawing an audience?
Well, you'll get the video game audience.
I think it'd be one thing if it was like they did like an Assassin's Creed movie again and tried to make it more.
Yeah, I heard that wasn't that good. I never saw it, but
no, it wasn't a good movie. It wasn't very honest to the game. It was very much in name, mostly alone. And I think if they did that again, I would think it would be a bigger success.
Yeah. Hopefully they learned from the Halo.
Oh god, the Halo was like garbage.
I forgot that came out until you said that. I watched all of it, and it was pretty. That was a funny one where it's like they understood the lore and chose not to go with it.
I like Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't, it didn't excel anything, but
but Chronicles of Riddick was a different thing. That was pitch black, and then a different went in a different.
Went from like micro budget to like large budget.
Like that's what happens when you have an IP with a good character. You could elevate it. I mean, look at like Spawn, or look at like look at what Rob Liefeld did with Deadpool and Cable. He took X-Force into one of the biggest comics just by having big name characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and using them right though. Like it's just not the name.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of good cases where like they take a good take on it. It's got a lot of chances, but just to rely mostly on name,
it's still crazy that the two animated films that came out this year are the biggest blockbusting films in the box office this year for 2000.
It's not that surprising when you look at the IP and look at the hype that the IP has with the current audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like those on paper, those look perfect and they're guaranteed, and plus they're like it's not.
They still cost a lot of money to make. Yeah, they also spent a lot of money making them too.
But you can see the amount of love that you put into something. Yeah, I think that shows. Yeah. And if it's just like a quick cash grab, it's just going to get.
Yeah, that's what I think what happened with The Flash is you watch that movie, and if you go in and you're a huge Flash fan, you're like, I want to see all my favorite Flash characters. You will get absolutely none of that Flash movie.
Correct. Yeah,
it didn't even work for all the all the Michael Keaton fans either. That wasn't enough.
Hey, Elijah.
For it to carry, which should have worked, right? Shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what we were waiting for, but then that couldn't even help it. A beloved series, a beloved like era of Batman was trying to get shoehorned into this whole mess of a thing, and it didn't help it at all.
I think ultimately that movie just failed because of people talked and said this movie is not the greatest superhero movie ever.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this, you bring up like Fortnite, it reminds me of like, I think we started to get sick of this stuff with the new Space Jam. I think that kind of...
I still haven't seen the old one actually, but yes, go on.
But I think that's what kind of, you could see like the cheapness of nostalgia baiting.
I think the new Space Jam highlighted the biggest issue in the way that these companies, and I view multiverse, where they think it's very easy just to throw in a bunch of characters people recognize.
Exactly.
Like, I'll give you all my money. I love that guy.
That's exactly what happened in this. It was Warner Brothers just throwing everything at it, and like just like basing it on pure nostalgia, and like it just showed how gross it gets.
Right.
I think it also shows that these companies totally misunderstand the concept of what the multiverse is. It's endless possibilities. It's not fan favorite shoved in your face.
Yeah.
But do we just get
tired? It's not Ready Player One.
but after Infinity War,
That's
we
what they
just
treat
get
the multiverse as. They treat it as Ready Player One when it
Yeah.
really should be everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
right.
That's the only
So-
time. That's the only movie that really used multiverse right.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that wasn't an
unfortunately,
IP or anything at all.
It's weird that they think that's the only time it's been done right when it's such a simple concept of just these are endless worlds with endless possibilities where anything can happen that can be slightly different or drastically different based on little ripples in time and history. And I don't know.
Will there be a Fortnite?
It's pretty
movie?
much close to. It's the closest thing to Ready Player One is Fortnite.
I don't think there'll ever be a Fortnite movie. I mean, the way Fortnite works is just
it's based
people
around
lend
the
up their
IPs on the
IPs.
yeah.
It's not based around it. It's more like
Right.
people lend it to them for promotion. And then
Gotcha.
the license could theoretically expire, but that's why everything's limited time. So if you buy the skin, you keep it, and then it's gone from the store. It's gone
Elijah.
forever.
Hello.
Yeah, you see it.
Join us in the
Fortnite.
last few minutes here, but yeah.
You see
Yeah, I
Fortnite.
just got home.
It,
I thought I'd jump
He's-
on while you guys are still on.
you see Fortnite in the movies, but like, I
Yeah.
can see like.
But yeah,
But yeah.
I mean, there's other films also. I mean, again, I'm going back to the summer blockbuster.
There's an
They
Angry
brought
Birds
in
movie.
the Pixar film Elemental. Did not do too well. It's actually slowly building up and doing better. People are saying it's a good story. I still haven't had the chance to go see it yet. But
I think they're going up against the rough.
did it get buried in the
animation.
mucks? But I'm saying, did it get buried in the middle of all these big films?
I think that one got buried.
Yeah, that got
That
buried because it
and-
came out
and,
the same week as The Flash and a few other movies. So it got
The last few
really
Pixar
It-
movies have kind of got like, are kind of
Yeah, they've kind of dropped the ball. We're not Pixar's not a guaranteed win anymore. Like it
Yeah.
used to be.
right. Yeah. So
And
I
plus,
think
like
they're
even
really well
even though they're
Disney
coming out, I see little effect on everything coming out all at once because like Spider-Verse had no problem, even though they were like up against all this like dense collection of like blockbusters
right.
that were coming
It's
out.
clearly
They
a
still
better
did
written
fine.
story, though. It's a clearly better written
That's what
story.
matters.
versus-
Like if it's a
Yeah.
good writing story, it's gonna rise above all of that. You
Right.
know, I
Yeah.
think it has a lot to do with like opening night or opening
Well,
weekend. but
that's
then
all they
that's what
care
this-
about now is opening day and opening days.
Yeah, but
They
that
have
doesn't
to.
matter. Like, there's been so many good movies that just have bad opening days.
Sure.
Or like Shawshank Redemption, for instance,
Mhm.
flopped, right?
Right.
But it's echoed in eternity for one of the greatest movies
Sure.
out there. Some
Sure.
some may say it's
That's-
the perfect
that's-
movie.
That's where I go back and say Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is not a bad film. It's a very solid film. Some
I
people
know, but it's
choose-
not going to be.
and it's up to personal
It's-
choice, of
it's-
course. But
It's not going to be Last Crusades. You know?
No, but already people are saying that they enjoy
Crystal Skull.
Crystal
more?
Skull more so than Dial of Destiny. And is
Yeah,
that a
that's
time? Is
impossible.
that become a time thing?
I think that's just a jab.
I think it's a jab.
a
yeah,
jab
that's,
or
that's
over the
impossible.
course of
The movie
time.
is-
Wait. But over the course of time,
It's not. I think Indiana
some of
Jones
us,
is
except
never
for
gonna.
Elijah, when it comes to the prequels, over the course of time, some of us look back at something and go, you know what, that wasn't as bad as I remember. Do we think
I
that's
think-
going to happen to, you know?
I think
films like this?
Indiana Jones hasn't recovered from that South Park episode.
That's stupid. That was a
the
stupid
kids
episode.
are
Yeah.
that's all they know. They know that more than
That's
Indiana
the
Jones.
context that surrounds Indiana Jones, and it's just not gonna hit. It's not gonna ring
I-
as well
no,
as it did.
I mostly, I
It's
mostly
done.
agree with you, Jason. It is a genre that kids of today cannot relate to, and I understand that. I totally.
Yeah, and like they think that we're gonna come to it like as strong as we did
Sure.
for like Last Crusades. No, they finished. They wrapped it up nicely with a bow with Last Crusades. Anything after is just an attempt to try to make more money. That's
Cash
all I
grab.
see.
Yeah.
But it's lost its heart ever since that, and it's not gonna get it back, man. And I'm sorry, but Indiana Jones is done.
I mean,
Star
if they make
Wars
another
seems to
one,
be-
it'd be a pretty sad movie. I mean,
Star Wars is losing its heart for most of the genre audience
Because we've overdone it. But it could,
but Marvel's doing the same thing.
but it's
so-
not the difference with Indiana Jones is relying on a singular character.
Sure,
I think
you're
Marvel's
right.
showing, it's just about quality. I think Guardians 3 did well because
Mm-hmm.
it was received well. People liked it.
Sure,
I think
yeah. And it
the
was a
difference-
solid story. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the difference is, quality of these movies and how good they are.
Sure.
Because, even Spider-Verse showed that just because it has a Marvel name on it doesn't mean it's going to be, thought of as one way. Spider-Verse is thought of very differently than the rest of the MCU movies, and not just because it's animated, because it's a different level of quality.
Totally. No, exactly.
I mean, even like, what's his name? Roger Ebert even predicted that Star Wars was going to continue forever. But like they'll change their characters, but a lot of the same droids will still be showing up.
Yeah.
Well, it's a property like Star Trek. Star Trek's not going to go away. Star Trek's just going to keep going and going.
You can change the cast, but it's still they're selling the universe. They're not necessarily selling like a single professor who also does archaeological digs.
There's also the hand.
Well, I think they'll also
there's also the hand me down to the next
in the next
generation.
20 years. They'll probably reboot it with, a Tom Holland type character.
Sure, maybe they will. Maybe
but that was an attempt at the end of Crystal Skull, but he didn't even let him do that.
Well, he wasn't a likable character though.
I know, but that was like the moment of passing the torch. But no, Indiana Jones won't pass the torch, and we learned that from the end of Crystal Skull. Yeah. And it's gonna die with Harrison Ford, unfortunately. I mean, you have your young Indiana Jones.
It means it can be But I mean, I by the way, I just finished that this past week.
There's like
rewatching this. It was good.
You think they're gonna invest in like a brand new Indiana Jones and like start it from scratch? No.
Yeah, about 15 or 20,
do something
15 or 20 years. Disney own the IP. Of course, they're going to rebrand it once Harrison Ford's been and gone. Once they can move on to a certain point that they can reconnect with a new audience or try to, but then every franchise does. The Masters of the Universe have tried.
Anything else?
They keep on not doing so well. Transformers has stayed steady. Ninja Turtles keeps going. What the new?
I know, but these are cartoons, man.
Right,
but they're going after Addams Family and the Munsters and anything that like has.
But those are doing fine because like you've rebooted Addams Family since, and those are great movies, and then you just like make a cartoon. But Indiana Jones is selling Harrison Ford. Like he's a huge part of that property. It's not the same with everything else.
He's Indiana. He's Indiana Jones.
Like you're selling that's a Harrison Ford vehicle. Like even he played Jack Ryan before. Like they continue that. Like they just recast him as someone else. He played it once, but that's like Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
like you can't sell James Harrison Bond Ford the same way. Forever.
Correct. You could sell a different actor as James Bond,
but it's like it's transcended generations where they haven't recasted him except for like a movie or like TV show that.
And James Bond is usually a current, not living in the past. He's not like fighting Nazis.
He's a set in time.
They update him.
Yeah,
and he's a period piece in himself.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna reboot it, you could just recast him, but it's not gonna do the same because it's not Harrison Ford.
Live action. Well, they tried that a few years ago. There was the
Out from the Shadows is an amazing adaptation.
I liked it.
It was good. It was good.
fun.
Yeah.
That was one of like the purest forms of like adaptation of a
but
property.
It was also the closest to the original TMNT
exactly
animated.
And they finally took the steps. They finally took the correct steps.
But that becomes nostalgia, and so.
Yeah, but it's using it. It's utilizing it better than just a cheap throw-in,
But did it resonate with kids today? Because it wasn't an ongoing thing. It kind of lived and died in the box office. Otherwise, they would have made a third one. So it's kind of like, it changes. Yeah, again, generationally.
Because the first one was crap. So a lot of people didn't give the next one a try because they're just like, we're sick of this shit. But unfortunately for it did it right. And it did it how it should have done in the first place. But then, just because of how things went, it just didn't do well. But
so, do we think it is a great deal of writers and creators and filmmakers not nailing or trying to nail what they think this current generation is accepting of, or is it more that they're getting younger generational writers and creators that are actually doing this? Because we're seeing it in a lot of cases. It's an older generation trying to write for the new generation, and they're giving what they knew more so as a story.
I'll say this: if it's a bad movie, it's going to be a bad movie,
Sure.
regardless of what type of IP it's connected to or whatever type of IP it's trying to connect to.
Yeah.
But if it's good, it's good. It doesn't need to necessarily be a brand new IP to
Right.
like. It doesn't need to be an old IP to be good anymore.
Yeah.
Like the movie I just watched on Netflix, that cartoon, Nimona. No IP, dude.
Right.
It was a web comic. It was a graphic novel, but it was just great storytelling. That it's a story that Disney had, but then they dropped the ball because it's too gay.
Right.
But it blows everything out of the water that Disney's made in these past few years.
Right. Do you know much about the creators and the showrunners and stuff? Are they younger audience? Are they,
I don't know.
Yeah. See,
but all I know.
That's why I'm asking the question. It's like
all I know is that it's a good movie and a great story.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way they tell it and like the way the story connects to like real world stuff and like a world they built.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tap into any type of nostalgia stuff. What it taps into is like real life stuff and real life like chemistry between people and just good plain ass storytelling.
Yeah.
But I think we're transcending a point where like just the nostalgia isn't winning anymore. And we should stop relying on all that.
I agree.
Because if a Michael Keaton Batman's not even going to help your movie, then there's really no hope in any of that.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, if it was a well-written story, like better written than had been.
Yeah, but that's what I've been saying. Like, if it's a good movie, people are going to recognize that.
Yeah.
But if it's a bad movie, filled, pumped with nostalgia coming out the gills, that's not going to do anything for it anymore.
Yeah.
That helped before. It helped you get a huge opening weekend, maybe for a few movies, maybe for a few properties. Right. But I think we've just grown like
Sweet Tooth.
I've watched the first 2 seasons of Sweet Tooth. It was fine. It was good. It didn't blow me away, but it was worth the watch. Yeah. Anyway,
guys, I think that's just how it's not going to work anymore. I think we're too cynical these days to kind of rely on this like stuff like that, Like that Willow was horrible. Apparently it didn't do well. But that was that's a great IP.
But there
that should have been a guaranteed win.
But here's the thing. A lot of younger audiences actually, and I'm saying in their early 20s, actually did enjoy it more than
I think there's a lot of fan support for it online.
Because like they did great as far as like the character chemistry between people was like a really good contemporary take on it. Yeah. And it matched well with a lot of the popular things right now. They did their research, but the IP itself wasn't enough to carry it like it usually was in like the early 2000s,
Yeah.
But I think we're growing past that. And I mean, good luck to this Beetlejuice movie because it's gonna flop hard.
See, I'm gonna go see it. I'm probably gonna enjoy it, but
I hope
I would want to.
Probably you bring up Beetlejuice to anyone right now, unless they're our age. Well,
you're right. It's
no one knows what the hell that is.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And is it compelling enough of a character to win people over?
Yeah. No, you're right. Completely.
Like I don't see that doing anything. Like we talk about Beetlejuice and we love it because we saw it when we were younger.
Yeah.
But that's it, dude. Like, as far as like a character, I watched the cartoon and stuff. I just liked it because it was like,
I don't think he has the marketability for a young audience to make it.
No, I agree. Yeah.
The best we get out of Beetlejuice is like a Easter egg in Community.
And here's the thing: they still wield the character at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they think he's still like this huge. I don't know. They still treat Beetlejuice like he's like a tentpole of film.
Then
I've never felt that way about the character.
Yeah, it's not even Universal's property either, but they still have him walk around the park like
how did
Brothers thing.
The Jenna Ortega just get her this new Lydia? Yeah, but then you're selling a person at this point.
Wait. But she might. I mean, she's already been big on Wednesday that she will draw an audience, whether the film is good or not. She will draw an audience because they're going to focus the marketing around her.
Yeah, if that's the case, but then that's going to do more than it being a Beetlejuice in the first place,
Right, sure. Okay.
That probably has a lot more. If she's in it, which is she?
Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah, she's in it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm assuming she's got a daughter.
They'll see it. They'll see it for her. more
Sure.
than they will see it for Beetlejuice.
I don't know. I think Beetlejuice holds up for like at least the weird kids as like a movie that like they all know and they watch.
No, that's Nightmare Before Christmas.
The other question is if there is a fresh take on the character, it might draw in a younger audience.
That's what we say with all of this stuff.
Sure.
That's the attempt. That's the best case scenario for something that is kind of tapping into nostalgia farming.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the best case scenario. Hopefully that is, but that's why I'm thinking, like, I don't know. On paper, it just looks like you could rebuild the brand new house. You could rebuild the house and everything.
Yeah, we saw the video. Did you guys watch the video? They've rebuilt the town, the actual existing town.
That could only take
I think
so
that's pretty
far.
Cool. They went out of their way to like make it like exactly the way they had it before with everything.
I think it's kind of cool. Yeah,
but
I thought it was pretty cool. That video
it's still not a guaranteed win, though.
Oh, completely.
It's not a guarantee. You're right. If the story's not good, it's not going to be good. But I think that one has a little bit. I think it has some potential.
Right, but it also isn't going to end up, with the exception of maybe paying, the actors, the leads who are coming back. It's not going to be a massive $200 million made film either, because it is.
I think he'll still go for the stop animation and the
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close to 100.
Really?
I can see it be 60, 70, 80 mil.
Right, but.
They did it low budget the first time. I would think that he would keep it low budget and keep it to the same,
Well, again,
way they filmed it originally the first time.
It's just a crazy few years for Michael Keaton right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 It's weird. He's made this comeback, but he hasn't quite made this comeback of all of his return characters.
In Batgirl, and we didn't even get to see any of that. That's like a Batman that we won't never get to see. Because he was in that.
No,
it was Batgirl. Yeah, he was right.
Batgirl, yeah. Anyway,
but
guys,
that's a bigger. But I mean, how did Little Mermaid do?
It didn't. I don't know the final box office numbers, but it went very, very low overseas, and it didn't do terribly well here. And it wasn't a terrible film if you compare it to the other live action remakes, because it was actually more on the decent side, I felt. But it was nowhere near enough to have been able to bring it up to being, for the cost that they spent putting into the film. It was nowhere near the audience you were going to ever get for that sort of.
See, that proves the point even more, right? Yeah. It's just like, it just doesn't matter. Yeah. It'd be like the biggest property ever.
Yeah. Well, I think after The Lion King, people just didn't want any more of those live action Disney remakes where it's just. People thought they felt
Pinocchio.
They're still doing that. That didn't even touch the theaters, and that one was like the worst out of the Pinocchios that came out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. People just kind of saw through Disney's whole idea of trying to modernize these movies, and people wanted the movies with souls in them instead of the soulless version of them.
They've dried up the nostalgia teat.
Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, guys, we've been going for just under 2 hours now, so I think we might call it a day. Up there in chat, thank you for watching us. We will be doing a reaction video again this coming Tuesday into Wednesday for Secret Invasion Episode 4. And then, it's still quiet on the news front. It probably will be for a few more weeks because of the writer's strike, so not much is happening.
You guys should check out Nimona if you get a chance.
Yeah, there you go. We'll try to watch something new each week and give our opinions.
Every I'm a Virgo. Those are my picks for this week.
Your picks. What did I? Hang on a sec. Oh, you know what? I did watch. I finally finished all of Black Mirror season 6. There was one episode that was pretty weak. The rest of them were. There was 5 episodes total. The Joan episode's the best out of this season. It was a good one. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. We shall catch you all later. All right.
There's season 2. Oh, yeah.